The anti-government protests here in Thailand were supposed to protest in front of the 1st Infantry Regiment base here in Bangkok, but at the last minute they switched the venue to the 11th Infantry Regiment base. Now, the reason they did this was because the Thai government set up extensive barriers around the first location, and as the protesters like to do, at the last minute they'll switch the venue to force the government to set up those barriers at a second location as well. Now, I'm pointing this out because the Western media likes to claim that these protesters have legitimate concerns regarding the government, and one of those supposed concerns is that the government is wasting Thai tax money. But I'd like to point out that every single time the government has to set up these defenses around these locations the protesters target, that's Thai tax money being wasted. And every time the protesters show up and they vandalize and destroy the entire location that they're protesting at, and the government has to pay people to come in and clean it up, that is also wasting Thai taxpayers' money. And, it's very easy for them to protest peacefully and to protest without vandalizing every rally site that they go to. But they don't do that. And every time they do, they are wasting Thai people's tax money. So I just kind of want to point that out, how the Western media is not really framing it that way. They're really trying to make it look like the Thai protesters have a real concern about Thai tax money. And the Thai protesters like to complain that, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis and the economy is so bad and there's so many people unemployed. Well, every time you decide to target a public location and the government has to spend money to protect it, and every time they have to come in and clean up after it, that's money that could have been spent helping all those people who are unemployed. I wanted to point this out, especially for people outside of Thailand looking in and watching the Western media's take on everything. I just want them to see that the truth of the matter is, it's really the other way around. It's these anti-government protesters who are actually the biggest threat right now to the country's stability, to its economy. When the protesters attacked a Russian expat in Pattaya, that has to do damage to the country's image as a tourist destination. And when they are attacking Thailand and China's relationship with each other, China being Thailand's most important economic partner, how is that going to help Thailand coming out of this COVID-19 crisis? So everything the protesters are doing is to impede Thailand's movement into the future, not help it, even though that the protesters claim that and the Western media is claiming that. So if you liked this video, if you thought it was useful, please like and share it. If you subscribe to the channel, that also helps it grow, and I greatly appreciate that. And in the video description below, there are some options if you want to support my work further. It includes my Patreon account. It's a monthly membership that starts out for as low as $3 or about 100 baht a month. And if you contribute to that, you'll get exclusive content and access to Land Destroyer. And it also helps me improve the quality of my videos, and it'll allow me to do a lot of projects in the future. So as always, thank you very much for watching.